Hello everybody, my name's Hal and welcome to my channel. Today we are on Hero's account and we're going to be taking a look at his brutal Hydra team. Not nothing too insane on this account. It's pretty simple account here. No, I mean it'll definitely be a pretty fun takeover going on here. We don't have really literally any silver to work with, so I'm just gonna have to be moving around gear that already exists on the account, which is okay. I mean, I assume almost all pieces on this account are fully leveled up and stuff. But we are going to be doing the Brittle Hydra. So let's go ahead and take a look at the team I've thrown together. I went ahead and did it beforehand because there's too many champions on this account for me to try and pick through them on video. So we have Trunda, Shujin, Gerbtug, Ashnar, Calamitous, and Feral. Why do I have a Shujin when there's obviously some Yumikos and stuff? There's no Fina, and then there's also not any double Yumiko, any extra two Yumikos. There's only one extra Yumiko. So I figured this is probably the best way to go. We have Shujin to help cycle Trunda, make sure she has increased crit rate, crit damage, and crit and increased attack at all times. She also brings us 4 buffs, so that's 20% damage boost and protection. And there's just a lot of damage boost throughout this. We also have Ashnar and Calamitous together. That means we have our weaken and our decreased defense covered between those two. We have everything we need in this team, including a provoke. So overall, I'm really happy with the champion selection here. Now it comes down to, can I build the team right and can I run the team right? First, a big thing I would want to change if I can is taking him on over to Cruelty. This just allows us to cycle better and do more damage. But let's go to Trunda first. We'll focus on her and then we'll move on over. So we already have an Arathi Coronet. We have, don't know if we have any extra boss slayers. I assume if we did, um, they would already be out here. Rarity, mythic. Oh no. No boss slayer, no boss slayer. Um, yeah, I mean, they're probably already on stuff that would normally. There's a boss slayer. Okay, so our one boss slayer is currently on his Titus team, and he has an incredible Titus team already. It's already really been taken care of. Now, this will have to change because we need to go down this way. So yeah, we're gonna reset Trunda here. Um, Now before we do that, I might want to try and build her and see what we're able to get, and then based off of that, we'll decide on if we want the crit rate or the attack. Already some amazing accessories right there. This is a multiple plat trophy winning account. It's not like any of this is all that new to him. Well, dang, okay, so we are gonna have to get some silver to roll a piece because I mean, that piece is gonna be good. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna find some stuff to sell and we'll continue on. Alrighty, so we went ahead and rolled this up. We got it to a +2, give it a 5-star glyph. We currently don't have any re-ascension materials, re-roll ascension materials, so it's going to be missing some attack for now, but it's not that big of a deal. We already have the other stuff pretty much done. So if this build is just missing a little bit of attack, you can always come back and improve that later. So let's go ahead and head on over to Merciless, where we will hopefully find some pretty good stuff. We want to find attack percent on everything. Well, attack percent on these bottom two. We also want to be looking into here as well. Yeah, we'll probably have to take that. It's a really good piece. But I assume he already has presets made for these different champions that he's using for his other team, so I'm not too worried about it. Okay. So it seems like our best piece is definitely going to be this one. attack, crit rate, crit damage. Well, attack, crit rate, crit damage. But I do just I want to see if we can skip those for now and just go for the other pieces. So we're gonna go over here, check crit damage and see what we have. Because we'd really like something like triple attack percent or something. It's triple flat attack. See, these are really solid. Crit damage. See, a little much on the speed though. Okay. So we're gonna have to go with that chest plate. Because that seems to really be the only one worth using. We're gonna have to go with, I mean, what we need: attack percent, crit rate, and crit damage preferably. We have two pieces. Yep, these on Hegemon are gonna be the best. And now we are going to be looking for the top 3 row, where we might save the gauntlets for just a fill-in piece instead of an actual set piece. So we want to see a lot of attack, so we're going to put focus on attack. We're not going to put any focus on speed. We don't want any more speed than we have right now, so we're going to go heavy on crit rate and crit damage and see what we have. That one's a 5-star, but it's still good. That's a really solid piece. Sadly, it has HP Ascension. I'm gonna check over here. Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what we want. So now we need to be going just purely into the Merciless. We need 65% crit rate. So we don't need anything like 21%. 21% would just be a little overkill. But if we do have to go with it, it's fine. It's not a big deal. I was expecting like a few crazier pieces. Not to say any of this gear is bad. It's just on an account of this level, you'd hope for a little bit better luck in the Merciless department. So you need 1% crit rate, and then man, we have too much speed. We're just racking up speed like crazy. Do we have another banner that doesn't have speed? It would be preferable to not have speed on the banner. Yeah, see, this one has 21. Okay, no. It is what it is. And then, yeah, there was no gauntlets worth using, so we're gonna go back over here. Yeah, there's a triple crit damage, but has speed. There we go. Triple crit damage with crit rate. That's pretty much what we need. So now we can go with the attack there, and then with the gauntlets, we want as much attack as possible. Do we have a quad? We have one quad on the attack. Okay. Yeah, I like that. The only issue is the speed being a little high, but besides that, I mean, no, it doesn't really matter, because even if we were to get something like this, we're gaining speed and crit rate, which we don't need. That's an amazing piece, by the way. And then something like this, yeah, no, this quad is very nice. It has some resistance and other things as well. So I'm really big fan of that. And then we are at the 70% crit rate. So then we can go in, we can pick up the attack, crit damage, Heart of Glory, Life Drinker, so we can hit Cycle of Violence and Stoked Fury, single out, bring it down, Methodical, and Helm Smasher. And then on this side, we just want to go with the accuracy. We're not going to go with, I don't think we go with the turn meter boost. However, we want to go Lore of Steel, and we want to go Master Hexer. And that puts us at a pretty good spot. So I'm going to save this preset. I'm going to... Alright, we're going to delete that Trunda new try. We're going to just... Oh, do we not have room? Is that what's going on? Yeah, okay. We're gonna delete that. Now we're gonna save this. We're just gonna call it Howl Trunda, just so it's clear what this was. And that puts us at a pretty decent build here. 11k attack on the dot. We're honestly too fast. Is this no, there's no speed there. No speed, no speed, no speed. No speed. Man, being +4 with a 6-star soul just gives you so much speed. Okay, this is the slowest I can get her, and it still be a good build. So we're good on her. Now we need to look at the next champions, which are going to be Calamitous, Ashnar, um, any of those guys. Now when it comes to Ashnar, we're going to be building him quicker. I want to say around 220. I want to get Calamitous around 210. I want him a little bit slower than Ashnar, but I still want him decent. Shuzhen, we went around 250. So let's see. Shuzhen, we want her 9-piece protection around 250 speed, which is going to be pretty difficult. Okay, let's get to removing this. And we can head on over to getting this actually done. Okay. So we need accuracy, or well, we don't need accuracy. We just want protection, but something like this is perfect, where it gives us accuracy and HP and stuff. We're gonna pick up that, and this is nice. Okay. Now, I know these aren't leveled, but it really doesn't matter. She shouldn't be taking enough damage to die anyways. We want HP percent, defense percent on all of these. We don't want any speed. Yeah, well, we might need to save that for Gerp Tuck. We do have to decide who's going to be the next highest crit damage champion. It's probably going to be Calamitous. I believe he would be the next best option. Alright, we're going to take that off of Neve, Nyame, whatever you call her. Gonna take that one. Because we do need some speed. No, but like I said, 250 is really where we're going to max out our speed on her. This one isn't bad. Do get a lot of speed. Okay, we're gonna try and avoid it as much as we can for this last bit. But if we can focus more on like the resistance and things. Okay, we're pretty much done here. Just need a couple more pieces to throw in. There's that. We're around that 250 mark, like I said. This will take us up a little bit above. We get some resistance. We don't need we don't need stats, guys. Like that's the thing. Once you get to a point, you don't need stats. You just want HP, defense, speed, and then some the other stuff. So I'm gonna save that. Hal, Susan, cool. We're gonna leave all this stuff alone. Because there's no point in me changing it for the sake of a brutal team, especially when it's probably a decently quick arena champ for him. I don't think that's his fastest champ, even though the preset said fastest. I assume that's just fastest for Shizhen. So let's head on over to Gerptuk, which he was what? No, wait. Okay, so he has a +4 Gerptuk, but he's using the normal one on his other team. Okay. Okay. So he's already in protection, but we are gonna need him. Honestly, I'd prefer to have Gerptuk as our highest crit damage champion. That'd be really nice. But we don't have a. Do we have a reroll maybe? If we do, I'd have to do some stuff to. Okay. If we get crit damage, I have to go. Yeah. All right. So sadly, we can't do anything about that. So he's not going to be the highest crit damage champion, um, which is okay. It's not a big deal. We want Tuck, I want to say right around Calamitus's speed, and maybe a little slower, because Tuck doesn't need to take many turns to be useful. Honestly, he can take very, very little turns. His cooldowns are pretty solid, and in the time it takes to cycle out some stuff, he'll be ready regardless of his speed. So we're gonna shoot for around 200 on Tuck. I think that'll be a solid mark for him. So on the boots, we're gonna try and avoid speed. Those have 20, okay. See, the issue is that, especially with a +4 champion, it can be hard to get these low speeds, it's funny because at the beginning of the game, you're shooting for the highest speeds you possibly can on everything, and as the game gets further on, especially in Hydra, it gets to the point where you don't want really any speed on your champions, especially on these very, very high level teams. I do believe that in the tightest team, you do want a good bit of speed, but Trunda teams specifically, which are technically the best teams, you really, really don't want speed. Okay, we'll take that. We're gonna call this Howl. Tuck. Nightmare Ashnar. Okay. It's a little weird. So yeah, that is 3 champions done. Now we just gotta, we gotta take a look at Ashnar. We gotta see what we have going on for him. Are we using the +1? Just wanna double check. Yes, we are. Okay. Is this already saved? Okay, he has a lot of stuff saved. Okay, I do have space to save a build, so that's fine. Let's go ahead and get him cleared off. And then we'll get him in 9-piece feral, and preferably we want him around yeah, I'm gonna say 230 speed is probably where we should be shooting on him. So, you know, we will see some speed rolls, but hopefully not too many. We got more than enough accuracy. We just need, I'm gonna say crit rate, crit damage. If we can get him built with some decent damage in this build, that being said, I should probably grab something with a bit more crit damage. Do we have one leveled? Yeah, we do. Okay. So we'll take that. And then we're just going to be looking to get him DPS'd out at around 230 to 220 to 230 speed and 9-piece feral. Man, a lot of really solid pieces of feral here. Crit rate, there's crit damage, but that's a lot of speed. Where are they? Where are the good boots? Okay, these are decent. We actually might go with speed boots for once, looking at it right now. Do we have... We don't have that many essential materials. We have a little bit of silver. Huh, okay. So we're gonna go with these, and then if we need to, we will take them up, but I'm not sure if we're gonna need to. So we're gonna just be looking for crit rate. Go crit damage, see what we have. Okay, we're gonna take those off of Hatter. Right now we're still just looking for crit rate. See if we have any doubles. Alright, there's one on him. There's a triple, we'll take that. And then speed-wise, do we have a decently fast piece? Yeah, something like this. Okay, cool. So we're gonna save that. We are gonna take this up because a little bit more speed on Ashnar is good because he does have to cycle more than other champions. So yeah, 222. right around where I was saying. That's awesome. Okay, we do need to delete something. This is new, so we're gonna... Well, that one has some stuff. Okay. Alright, this is there. So delete that. Howl. Hash. Okay. That works for me. And now we are going to knock out the Calamitous. Alright, so with Calamitous, we're going to want him highest crit damage. We're going to want him in 9-piece Feral. Hopefully, he has gotten 9-piece Feral. He has, but none of the pieces are leveled. Okay, that isn't great. That means he can't be the highest crit damage, which means we're going to have to, I guess, make Feral the highest crit damage champion. Hopefully. I mean, can we even do that is the question. We just need to take a look. And, yeah, we'll look at Allele. Okay, we do have it. Okay. All right. We're fine. We're fine there. So, Calamitous. We are just going to build him in 9-piece Feral. We want him a little bit slower than Ashnar, probably around 200 speed. Maybe 205, 210 in that area. Because it just doesn't seem like we're going to be able to get much slower than that. Yeah, we have to go with these pieces. There's nothing else. Any without speed, we'll take that. So none of these pieces are leveled, which is pretty funny. But we will go with Feral. We'll just try and get, crit damage, or we'll take that. Some crit rate, crit damage. If we have attack percent, yep, we'll go with this. We're gonna try and just get him with some damage stats because I mean, well, actually, if it was Nightmare, that would make sense. But on this, it doesn't make that much sense because we don't want him accidentally doing too much damage. Where Trunda's cycle can get messed up. So we're actually gonna avoid giving him damage now that I'm thinking clearly about it. Huh, okay. So yeah, we're just gonna take this. Any of these like super weird looking pieces that you never use on anybody else, that's pretty much what's gonna get thrown on him. Yep, okay. And then boots are gonna be possibly an issue. No, we can go with that. Now, we might want a little bit more accuracy. I don't know. We should be fine, really. Like, this is just such a this is such a weird build. Do we have an okay, we do have a quad crit damage right there, so we can definitely get Feral to be the highest crit damage champion. That shouldn't be much of an issue. I guess we'll go with this, and then on the last piece, we just want something with a little bit of speed. 15 takes us to 203. Yeah, that's fine. I just want to double check where Gerptuck was. We're comparing it to 203 speed. He's at 198. Awesome. So Calamitous is fine. Gore Crescent, it doesn't really matter. There isn't too much we could give him to make it make sense. Okay. I'm just gonna call this Howl Calamitous. Cool. So we save that, and now we just have Feral to go. I believe he has a few of him. Yep, to collection. All right. So we would prefer to get him in protection, but if yeah, he doesn't have any pieces. We're gonna go with 9 pieces of Feral then. Did we? Yeah, okay, never mind. I don't know why I'm getting so confused right now. I was gonna say, did we build Shujin? Yes, that was one of the first champions we built. Okay, so if we end up needing to, we can put him into a dagger. I mean, we definitely have one somewhere, but we'll see how much crit damage and stuff we can get before we resort to doing something like that. Okay, there we go. There's a piece. So we're just gonna go full, like, what is the highest crit damage we can get, because that's really all that matters. There's a quad. We also want some speed on him, actually. Getting him with some speed is actually important. Okay, we're gonna take that off of her. We are going to take that, and then we want him maybe a little higher than Calamitous, I think. That might be a little too quick there. Um, yeah, okay. That one isn't bad. We're gonna save this as Howl. Save that. Now, I believe Trunda has a good bit more crit damage than we do right now, so we're gonna take Geralt's. And then now we need to compare. So on Trunda, we have 441. On him, we have 423. Okay. So on Firo, we're gonna have to change our masteries on over to the flawless execution. Doesn't really matter what we do here. Flawless execution, and then we're just going to get normal stuff for Feral. Just turn him into a normal Feral. And there we go. All right. So now he is 440. Wait a second. The exact same. No, 441. Okay, we are just a couple higher. All right. Now we get to try and run the team. This is gonna take a little bit for me to learn, so I'm going to give it a few tries and then come back to you guys once I've figured out kind of how to run it properly, make sure I'm cycling properly and not screwing everything up. So I'll be back once I've done that. All right, guys. So I've pretty much figured out the team so far. I don't think this will break any records by any means. But I do believe for all the gear that we've had and everything, I do believe this is very, very solid. And now something I do want to mention is I have had to swap around some builds. I did have to pretty much take everybody's speed up a decent little bit. I was thinking this was going to have to be a lot slower than it actually does have to be. So it makes things a little easier. But yeah, I mean, we've taken everybody up from I mean, Shujin, she's like 360 now, I believe. We've brought in Yumiko, which is obviously a big change. We didn't have Yumiko before. That does allow for us to, that allows for us to just cycle better. We're full cycling the entire time, which makes things a lot easier for the person running the team, because full cycling just allows for consistent damage. Um, which is super nice. I mean, if you have a team that can just consistently get the uh, full team down, and then you just cycle back around really easily, it just makes things so much easier. And especially something like this where we're able to keep up the debuffs and everything, where we're good to cycle back around the next time as well. See, we smack, get around 600 to I think the range has been 600 million um, up to 1.2 billion per cycle, which means that, I mean, we're doing right around 100 million per boss turn, which is very solid. Again, not record breaking, but very, very solid and something I'm happy to see. And something you'll notice is that when we do get to some of the points in this, if we can, there we go. Um, we can actually give other people the boost. Usually it's been Ashnor, just to allow us to get back around to provoke or whatever we have to do. So if we are able to get back around to him, okay, we weren't this time, we have other times. So right now, this is actually a very tough spot that we're in. Hold up. Ooh. We might have to swap forms and make this a long cycle, which I have had to do a couple times. I say that because if we look at Calamitous, he's very low. We are also in a rough spot when it comes to um, we're about to have to deal with this head. Yeah, so we're gonna have to make this a pretty long cycle here, but worse things have happened. Now, something we have to be very, very mindful of is getting heals out with our Gerb Tuck here, because if we're not able to do that, we will just die, which has happened during one run, but it hasn't been a massive issue. Yeah, we have to wait. We want to make sure we're not putting out any decreased speeds. We want them to cycle as much as they can. We do just want to make sure that we are blocking their stuff and allowing us to try and get some of these heals out. So actually, I am going against what I just said. We need to get some more heals out with our Gerptuk. So we're going to just continue to hit this head. We don't have a 100% crit rate, which makes this actually a lot more consistent than if we did have a 100% crit rate. If we had a 100% crit rate, we would be doing too much damage all the time and making it almost impossible for us to get consistent cycles. So as soon as this head takes a turn, we'll be back in business essentially, as long as we don't kill this head. See, as long as we continue weak hitting and not critting, we're completely fine. Okay, Trunda isn't getting eaten either, which is great. Now we're gonna hold off one more turn, continue to get these heals out. We have to, yeah, okay. So with Trunda, this time we're gonna preferably take out, there we go. And then we are just gonna wait actually because we have to get a Gerb Tuck turn here. Gerb Tuck turn with his A2. Now that we've done that, we can now be ready to smack. And we've weakened the head all the way down. We give Trunda her instant turn. Oh, my goodness, that is the first time that I've messed that up. Wow, okay. Now, dang, of course, as soon as I start recording, I mess something up here. Okay, we're just gonna try and cycle out the heads here if we can. Yeah, see, we ended up killing. This is so weird. What in the world? Okay, so now we just have to kill this last head, and then we are back to a normal cycle. And you know, without it being a perfect run, things like this aren't gonna happen. This is like my third time giving this run even kind of a go. So I'm pretty happy with the damage we're getting here. I believe that with proper RNG in the damage and then a proper run of it, like someone who is ran this team some more than I have, or just me running it a lot more times, I believe this team can do a whole lot of damage, a whole lot more than it is now. But I don't think I've done too bad. So we really just need to, okay, we're just gonna kill this head. We need it out of here. There we go. Okay, and it's a fast head, that's great. We are going to swap forms and spread the debuffs. Swap forms, spread debuffs. We are getting a little low, but it's fine. We just need, like I said, we just need this head to take a turn. We need to get our guys cycled through. Trunda needs to get her ability back. Ashtar needs to take one more turn. Okay, Trunda's fine. So yeah, we're just waiting. Okay, we're gonna boost with her. We have our debuffs out. I'm just gonna do it again. Let's do this. Now I could RNG and try to just get a big smack out, which I'm gonna go ahead and do. Yep, we did crit, which wasn't guaranteed, so that was a very risky move. We're gonna give Trunda her instant turn. We're gonna smack the tankiest head here, which is this one. If it was anybody else, we would have killed him. And now we are going to get all of our abilities out, and then I'll just show this one damage cycle, and then at the very end I'll show you guys the damage. I'll re-show the builds. We're going to do a quick run through because I don't think anybody wants to sit through a whole bunch of looking through everything, but yeah. So this time we're actually going to give the instant turn to Calamitous so we can get our decreased defense and weakens out, and now we're just going to smack here. There we go. Around 1 billion damage off of that. And we've definitely fallen off a lot of our damage, and you guys saw how quickly that happened. I mean, that happened in just a matter of minutes, but it's okay. I mean, we should still end out above 10 billion damage, and on a brutal team, that's very solid. I mean, yes, there's some people getting like 80 billion, but those are people with Theodosia, Fina, and all that fun stuff, so if we can even begin to compare to things like that, I think we're doing just fine. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and finish out this run. It will probably say like an hour, hour and a half, because I have to take my wife to work. So we'll get to that when we get there. But yeah, should be a very solid number by then. Ooh, okay, actually this is a little iffy. I got an AoE. Okay, there we go. Okay, we almost killed everybody. Do we... All right, we have to avoid hitting this one. I believe we have it, actually. Yeah, we do. Okay. Smack here. Let's just do one more cycle. Why not? Let's have a little bit of fun. We got to get one turn on Yumiko. We are pretty much good everywhere else, though. Okay. So we got to get one more turn on pretty much everybody. Is there anybody who can take a hit? Maybe this head, because it's force affinity. There we go. We are gonna give that to her to give her one more protected buff. We're gonna boost, give her some more buffs, nuke. There we go. That was a very, very solid hit. All right, guys. As I said before, we're gonna go ahead, pause, and come back once things are done. All right, guys. I think we're about to hit the end of this. So we got very, very unlucky with a Devour on Trunda and just a bad time, overall bad timing. I don't know, unless, I mean, if Ashnar can pop out a big hit here, yeah, no, that's it. Hey, I mean, what are we looking at there? Let's pull out the calculator. I've done it before. Calculator. Let's see. So if we still have 25% of the run left, basically. So if we go 13, 5, 5, 7, 1, 8, 8, 2, 2 times 1.5. Yeah, looking about 20 billion out of this team. I can be very, very happy with that. That is a fantastic run, actually. So we're gonna end this. We're gonna keep it. Now I'm sure next time around he could be doing a lot more damage. I don't doubt that in the slightest. I mean, like the calculator just said, could be looking at about 20 billion, which would mean about 60 billion clash points out of a brutal team. Doesn't get much better than that, guys. So let's do a quick run through of the builds on the team that we just did. Let's see where that puts us. Yeah, I mean, that puts us number 4 right now. That's not bad at all, especially for a first time run. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So recently used first. Now we're just going to do the quick run through. Trunda hasn't changed. Ashnar did change a bit. We upped his speed a lot. We made sure he still has damage. Calamitous, we upped his defense. That was the biggest thing. We made him more survivable. Gerptuk, we upped his speed a little bit, up to 217. Shujin, we upped her speed a little bit, up to 264. And then Yumiko, we brought her in, and 2, we have her the highest crit damage, and she's at 243 speed. So yeah, guys, that is the team. I know a lot of things changed from the beginning of what I was thinking, but that's all part of the process, and that's one of the biggest things I like showing you guys. I think that's one of the biggest things you guys learn from me is showing you guys the process. Even when you make mistakes, how do you make them better? How do you fix them and things? And yeah, I believe this has been a great example of one of those times, and I hope you guys have learned from this. If you did learn anything, if you did enjoy this video, consider liking, subscribing. If you're not already in my Discord, you can join through the link down in the description. If you would like some account work yourself, you can either one, buy it through my Discord. You just got to look at my prices, DM me. My sale is ending on the 11th, so we're closing it on that. But if we are able to hit 2,000 subscribers before the end of November, we are going to be doing a really, really big giveaway um, on our on the YouTube channel and Discord. Sorry, I spaced there. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out, everybody.